Can we all just take a collective breath? The third and final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty has officially wrapped, and my heart is still recovering. We laughed, we cried, we screamed at our TVs, and we watched Belly Conklin finally, choose her path. It was a bittersweet goodbye to our summers at Cousins Beach, but before you get too teary-eyed, there's a silver lining shimmering on the horizon. Our time with these characters isn't over. A movie has been announced, promising to pick up with Belly, the incredible Lola Tongue, and Conrad, the king of brooding, Christopher Briney, a few years down the road. But for now, let's unpack the emotional whirlwind that was Season 3. This season was everything. It took us on a gut-wrenching journey from the frantic, ill-fated build-up to Belly and Jeremiah's wedding to the soul-searching aftermath that led Belly all the way to Paris. It was a season of immense growth, painful goodbyes, and beautiful new beginnings. While the season as a whole was a masterpiece of teenage angst and summer love, some moments hit harder than others. So, grab a box of tissues and your favorite pomegranate margarita, and let's dive into every single episode of Season 3, ranked from the ones that just missed the mark to the ones that shattered our hearts in the best way possible. 11. Last Call. If this season was a beautiful symphony, Last Call was that one slightly off-key note. After the explosive, fast-paced episodes leading up to the wedding that wasn't, hitting the brakes this hard felt like emotional whiplash. The episode grapples with the immediate fallout, but honestly, it spends far too much time coddling Jeremiah as he throws a tantrum and plays the victim, while everyone around him walks on eggshells. We love you, Jerry, but this wasn't your best look. Meanwhile, our girl Belly is stranded in Paris after losing her study abroad spot, and her struggles felt reduced to a series of unfortunate, almost comical, mishaps like having her backpack stolen. It just felt like a waste of precious screen time after the high-stakes drama we'd just witnessed. 10. Last Supper. Right after Belly and Jeremiah's shocking engagement, Last Supper felt like another moment of quiet before an inevitable storm. It was a transitional episode, moving all our beloved characters back into their summer places, either in Cousins or Boston. The pacing was slow, and you could feel the tension simmering just beneath the surface. What saves this episode and pulls it from the bottom is the final, explosive chunk. The family lunch for Susanna's dedication, where the happy couple announces their wedding plans, was pure, delicious drama. The stunned silence, the ensuing arguments, and that final, heartbreaking shot of Conrad standing all alone outside the restaurant? Chills. It was the gut punch we needed to launch us into the season's core conflict. 9. Last Season. As a season premiere, Last Season had a tough job to do. It had to bridge a 4-year time jump and reacquaint us with our favorite characters, and for the most part, it succeeded. We learned that Belly and Jeremiah have been a couple this whole time, that Stephen and Taylor are in a messy we're broken up but not really phase, and that Conrad is still off in California. It was a necessary episode, full of setup and exposition. But the real high engagement moment came at the very end. The 1-2 punch of Belly discovering Jeremiah's spring break cheating scandal, followed immediately by Stephen's car crash, was an absolutely jaw-dropping cliffhanger that had us all screaming, "Next episode, now." 8. Last Stand. Belly's 21st birthday. An occasion that should have been celebratory felt more like a cringe fest. The massive fight between Belly and Laurel over the wedding set a sour tone, and watching Belly and Jeremiah act like petulant children trying to win her over was frustrating. Honestly, the episode spent a little too much time at Breaker Capital, the workplace subplot we didn't really ask for. But then, just when you're about to write the whole thing off, Conrad saves the day. That scene at the cousin's house, where he finds a crying Belly and, despite having just overheard her mocking him, drops everything to bake her birthday muffins. It was a moment of pure, selfless Conrad Fisher love that reminded us why we fell for him in the first place. 7. Last Christmas. Christmas was an exercise in emotional frustration. With Stephen fighting for his life in the hospital, the present-day storyline was heavy and bleak. Belly wrestled with forgiving Jeremiah, Conrad was a hero from afar, and Taylor and Stephen were trapped in yet another miscommunication loop. But the episode's saving grace, the part that had book lovers everywhere cheering, was the Christmas flashback. It was a perfect, page-to-screen adaptation of one of the most beloved scenes from the trilogy. Seeing Belly and Conrad reconnect at the cousin's house over the holidays, the warmth, the quiet intimacy, the spark that never died, was a beautiful, poignant memory that gave us all the feels and a much-needed dose of hope. 6. Last year. Condensing 10 months into a single episode is a bold move, but last year somehow made it work. It swiftly moved us past the wedding drama and showed us everyone settling into a new normal. The real highlight, of course, was Belly's Parisian renaissance. Watching her stumble, and then find her footing, juggling jobs, school, and a new group of friends, was incredibly empowering. We got to see Belly truly become her own person, independent of any boy. Sure, the episode gave Jeremiah a somewhat rushed new passion for cooking to set up his ending, but seeing Belly thrive and knowing Conrad was writing her letters from across the ocean made this a truly special, albeit transitional, installment. 5. Last dance. Now we're getting to the good stuff. The stretch of episodes from Belly's arrival in Cousins to the wedding day was peak summer. Last Dance kicks off this golden era perfectly. Belly is drowning in wedding planning, and the pressure is getting to her. In a moment of pure, heart-melting chivalry, Conrad goes to Laurel and convinces her to support her daughter, leading to a touching reunion at the bridal shower. But the real magic of this episode is the undeniable, electric chemistry between Belly and Conrad. When he shows up with a surfing injury and she helps bandage him, the world stops. That shared glance, that quiet intimacy, it was a moment so charged with history and unspoken feelings that it left us breathless. 4. At last. Let's be real. As a series finale, At Last felt a little incomplete. It was hard to believe this was the end. But now, knowing a movie is coming to adapt the book's epilogue, it all makes sense. The episode is slightly bogged down by the Cousins-based B-plot of Jeremiah's big career meal, but what makes this a top-tier episode is the Paris reunion. It was everything we could have dreamed of. Watching Belly and Conrad rediscover each other as they wandered the city was pure romance. They finally have the deep, honest conversation they've needed to have for years, addressing their insecurities and fears head-on. And that grand gesture at the train station? Belly chasing after him? It was the perfect, hopeful, this isn't the end conclusion we needed. 3. Last Harrah. Welcome to the mess. Last Harrah throws us into the chaotic joy of the bachelor and bachelorette parties, and it is an absolute blast. The episode is buzzing with nervous energy and escalating tension. At her party, Belly finally learns that Conrad was the one who mended things with her mom, and you can see the conflict raging in her eyes. But the climax of the episode is what seals its legendary status. On the beach, under the stars, Conrad finally tells Belly he still loves her. Her rejection is brutal, devastating, and absolutely necessary. It's the turning point for the entire season, a perfect, gut-wrenching scene that sets the stage for everything to fall apart, and we couldn't look away. 2. Last kiss. This is it. The wedding episode. The culmination of an entire season of build-up, and Last Kiss did not disappoint. It was a cinematic panic attack in the best way. From Jeremiah going missing on the morning of his wedding to the series of brutally honest and messy fights between all our main players, the drama was relentless. The scene where Conrad finally, truly lets Belly go, telling her to be happy, was a masterclass in acting from Christopher Briney and shattered hearts across the globe. But the real triumph was Belly's final conversation with Jeremiah. Her quiet admission that she still loves Conrad wasn't a moment of triumph but one of quiet, heartbreaking honesty. It was the perfect, mature, and oddly peaceful end to their relationship, and a massive relief for us all. 1. Last Dance, the Conrad episode. Ever any doubt? The absolute, undisputed champion of Season 3 is the Conrad-centered masterpiece, Last Dance. For years, we've only seen the world through Belly's eyes. But for one perfect, glorious episode, we finally got to live inside Conrad Fisher's head. We felt his pain, his deep, unwavering love, and his desperate pining for the girl he could never stop loving. The episode follows him as he tries, and fails, to keep his distance, ending up spending the day helping Belly with wedding errands. Every scene, from their easy banter to their moments of deep connection, is elevated by hearing his inner monologue. It's romantic, it's tragic, it's beautiful, and it gave us the validation and insight that the Team Conrad fans have been craving since Season 1. It's not just the best episode of the season, it's one of the best episodes of the entire series.